iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
August, my husband, is a very complex, or was a complex writer, but the piano lesson has to do with legacy. And what do you do with your legacy? There is a piano that a long time ago, before the play starts, has some carvings, some African carvings, which makes this piano very precious and very very valuable, but also combining the Western tradition and the African tradition. And I think that, at least for myself, that tradition in that one piano symbolizes us Americans. You know, we can't extricate the African history from our own history in this country. It is the combination of both that makes it so beautifully diverse and so beautifully interesting and full of just history and beauty.
This role means a lot to me. This was what I used, this monologue of Bernice, to get into Juilliard, to start my journey as an actress. And so to get to play Bernice in totality now, you know, with the leadership of LaTanya, getting to learn from Sam, getting to work with my brother John David, that's your full name. But it's really a gift, you know, and I am just in awe that God has put me in this position to be, you know, supporting in this way and to be the leading lady of this production. It means a lot, but I feel like I'm ready for it. I know that I'm ready for it. And I'm excited to share this story with the world.
This is a life dream, so I'm here because of that. It's like the vision made manifest, finally, of something that's been on my heart for a long time to direct. And I do believe that Broadway is the heartbeat, the pulse, the spark plug of New York, because the world, tourists, and people from around the world are galvanized to this point. They come here and they see a great show, they talk about it, and they go out as ambassadors to New York in the world because of that. So I think it's a great calling card. It's a great way for people to be in this city, to see all of the great sites that are here, to be a part of this great town. So it's a good heartbeat.
You know, it should be fun in another kind of way. I mean, last time I was hanging around Broadway with this play, I was kind of miserable. So this will be very different. And I'm enjoying the process with this cast we have. And kind of enthusiastic about John David's, you know, Broadway debut, having been around him his whole life and watching him grow and become this, you know, wonderful actor that he is. This test is very different than anything he's ever had before. And it's kind of great that LaTanya's directing him and that I'm there to support him, even though I'm not there to give him advice or any kind of thing. She told me I can't talk to him about the role because I did it. So it's very satisfying to be able to help what, you know, or he would say, "Unc, help me." And I was like, "Unc can't," you know.
I'm part of an all-star elite class of actors and our leader, LaTanya Jackson. Sky's the limit. You know, I'm learning so much already in our rehearsal process, and I'm looking forward to learning more about myself through the process and through watching these wonderful actors perform every day.
I mean, she knows actors, and so she has a shorthand that she can communicate with us that ultimately it certainly is helpful in a lot of ways because, you know, I've not been on stage in this capacity in about 10 years. And so, you know, as a shake off the rust and, you know, really get back into it, it's nice to have somebody who knows very specifically how they want the ship to sail.
I always have so much anxiety. It is like the first day of school because I never know. And the only person prior to this I'd worked with was LaTanya. She directed me in a Zoom play with JD's mom, actually, in early 2021. So it's all that kind of anxiety, and then you get in the room and people are just so authentically themselves, and there's no ego there. It's about the work. Everyone is invested in doing the piece, and that's tremendous. It's a great room to be in.
Oh gosh, lots of people have always asked me, when is the revival piano lesson? It is one of August's most successful plays on Broadway, and the reason I think because it was so successful is a family story. And everybody can relate to the universal themes of what to do with your history, and what is going to, the whole story of the piano lesson revolves around a piano. And it's not an ordinary piano. It's a piano that has African carvings on it. This is an heirloom. This is something passed down. So does it mean something that you can sell? Or does it mean something that you keep because it has so much sentimental value? And also, right now, we are going through Black Lives Matter movement, and I think that August Wilson always embodied the Black Lives Matter in all of his plays, and all of his work speaks about characters in the 20th century that mattered, and they were not like important historical figures. They were everyday people, and everyday people really matter for all of us.
But this particular play, again, there's so many nuggets in this thing, and again, I think that they're all so relevant at all times. There's so much richness with regard to Black culture and the themes that we deal with throughout the entire American century cycle. This one with entrepreneurship, with religious beliefs, with African traditional beliefs. It's just really a good time to be seen and heard in a complex way that allows for us to be sincere and honest.
Well, coming off a pandemic too, especially an intense lockdown, you were with a lot of family. If you had that, if you were with family, you were with them a lot, and you're seeing how family dynamics, no matter where you're from, a lot of universal themes are in there. There's a lot of things that we can all relate to, and this play is coming off being released now off the heels of a lockdown. I think it's very important to examine and to maybe see something in yourselves and your families that you recognize in this play.
Just come in and be surprised. But generational wealth is something that we all understand, and we also understand family heirlooms, and especially when somebody dies and somebody's supposed to get it, and what the rift that can cause between a family because one person doesn't get their wishes and the other person is trying to get something. So that's all part of. It's a universal theme. It doesn't have a racial thing to it at all.
I want them to know that it will be relevant to their lives. It'll be relevant to how we tell stories, how we talk about heritage and history, and who gets to dictate the history that's being told. It's going to be relevant to a lot of conversations we're having today surrounding critical race theory and people really striving to be able to tell their own story.
We call it a ghost story, and at the heart of it for me is, how do you reconcile with the ghosts of your past? How do you reconcile your present with the ghosts of your past? And I think our country is having that very issue right now. We're still having a hard time wrestling with the ghosts of our past and striking a legacy for the future. And I think this play pretty much puts that conflict into focus.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.